everyone, and welcome to another one of our Day One and Beyond Did You Know sessions. In this webinar series, we focus on new features and enhancements of Oracle Cloud infrastructure and discuss how these solutions empower businesses to achieve greater efficiency, security, and scalability. Whether you're a seasoned OCI user or you're just getting started with your cloud journey, you're in the right place to explore what's new. My name is Taylor Zhang from the Oracle Personalized Training Team who puts on these Day One and Beyond sessions. And today I'd like to welcome Tammy Bednar and Julian Silverstein as we'll be talking about provisioning Oracle Cloud Services on Oracle Database at AWS. Take it away, Tammy.
Thank you, Taylor, and hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I thought I would kick us off, Julian, with some fun facts. AI is so much in the news anymore, and I thought maybe a fun fact is when was the first AI introduced? Well, I don't know if our audience knows this, and I didn't know it until I started looking it up. Back in 1950, Alan Turing published Computing Machinery and Intelligence, proposing the famous Turing test. That was a long time ago. You would think it was not so long ago, right? And then in 1956, the term artificial intelligence was coined at the Dartmouth Conference, often considered the official birth of AI as an academic discipline. Now, I know, Julian, we're talking about Oracle Database at AWS, so I thought I'd find the fun fact when AWS introduced AI. And that was back not that so long ago, back at AWS reInvent in 2016. AWS introduced Amazon Lex, Amazon Poly, and Amazon Recognition as new AI services. So hopefully you
Wow,
found that interesting.
I do, and actually, I have a T-shirt for Alan Turing asking, "Are you human?" So yeah, no, that's very cool. But let me ask you one question, Tammy. What is the need for customer to have Oracle database offerings in other hyperscalers?
Oh, that's a great question, Julian. And that's going to kick us off with, let's first of all, let's think about and ask ourselves, what if you could migrate your Oracle database workloads to AWS? Specifically on Exadata database service on dedicated infrastructure or autonomous database. What if you could unify your data across Oracle and AWS to innovate? Innovation is very important today with all the competitiveness going on. By generating deeper insights with zero ETL integrations to unify that data across Oracle and AWS for analytics, machine learning, and generative AI. But, excuse me, and more importantly, what if this can be simple? What if you want to simplify your management and operations using existing AWS and Oracle database skills and tools and automation and processes in this multi-cloud environment?
Well, that's super interesting. But how is Oracle providing its flagship offering, Oracle Database, in AWS?
I'm glad you asked me that question. So we have, first of all, let's look at the benefits of why running on Oracle Database at AWS. First of all, with this solution, we're offering full Oracle capabilities. They're purpose-built on performance and security on the Exadata platform. We also have the ability to run real application clusters, and those in our audience may know this is how you can cluster databases or create clustered databases for scalability, availability, etc., and be able to migrate your on-premise workloads easily and quickly, and at the same time have price parity with what's in OCI. Second, and a very important one, is low latency connections. I mean, that's the winner between running your applications and the database, your favorite database service together. So with low latency connections in the solution, you can run within the AWS data center to enable latency sensitive applications. And you're also familiar with the connectivity experiences for Oracle Database at AWS and other AWS services. So that makes it simple. Then we want to make this a very seamless experience. We want to be able to have you provision and deploy from the AWS Management Console or APIs that you're already using today. We have collaborative support between Oracle and AWS to help you with any challenges you may run into. On top of that, we give you one place for monitoring, billing, and operation. So that makes it a much, much better collaborative, supportive solution. And you can purchase the solutions through the AWS Marketplace as well. And then finally, we have native AWS services available to work with the Oracle database, such as Zero ETL integration that has this integration between Oracle Database Service and AWS Analytical Service. You can connect enterprise data in Oracle Database to Amazon's EC2, the analytics services, and AI and machine learning as well, such as Amazon Bedrock. So this is our solution. It's called Oracle Database at AWS, as we've been talking about in the title. And this is going to provide you the best of both worlds, a lot of what I just talked about. So it gives you that opportunity to take this enterprise grade data management services, which means they're highly available, it's automated, they're performant, they're agile, using the OCI infrastructure of Exadata database platform, specifically the Exadata database service and autonomous database on dedicated infrastructure, and put together the most widely adopted cloud solutions from AWS, such as Amazon EC2, Amazon SageMaker, Bedrock, Amazon EKS, Amazon Q, and Amazon Simple Storage Service, or a lot of you know that as S3.
Hey, but maybe for our attendees, can you please deep dive a little bit more on the Oracle offering in AWS?
Absolutely, my pleasure to do that. So, what I want to deep dive on is what are those services I just mentioned that are available on Oracle Database at AWS? So, I mentioned Autonomous Database. Autonomous Database is a fully managed service with complete automation. So, this eliminates a lot of the administration, like some of those manual tasks, like such as setting up backups, tuning, scaling when you need more resources. And because it has so much automation in it, it offers you the lowest total cost of ownership. On top of that, which I know a lot of you like to hear, that means you're only paying for the resources that you use. And I mentioned with Autonomous Database that you can scale automatically for those resources. So we have auto scaling that automatically tracks your workloads and detects when you need more resources, and it will automatically scale up and add additional eCPUs for that workload when you need them. And then when you don't need them any longer, it automatically scales back down. So this helps you keep those costs where you're looking for those cloud services. On top of that, Autonomous Database offers complete cloud native database or data platform, I should say, because whatever your workload is, whether it's data warehousing, transaction processing, JSON, it has all that built into the database, and we optimize for these workloads as well when you provision an Autonomous Database, and it has built-in data tools. Now, we offer a second flexible service called the Exadata Database Service. That means it's flexible because you have full administrative control. You do have root access to the database environment that's running in a VM. So you have more control over database lifecycle, all that maintenance that we do. And maintenance is very important from a security perspective within the cloud. It's always important to apply patches and maintenance to all your databases, but in the cloud, you want to keep those up to date. The important thing is I call this a customer managed service because the infrastructure is managed by Oracle. And then you control the VMs, the operating system, and the database versions, and when the maintenance is applied to those VMs as well. Now, just like Autonomous Exadata, you only pay for resources that are provisioned against the VM, and the VM is where your databases reside. And it's a really easy lift and shift from on-premises. So if you're running Oracle databases on premises today, it's really easy to lift and shift those into the Exadata database service because all the applications that you're running today they work with the Exadata platform. So this will help, and so it makes it easy to migrate any of your Oracle supported versions, I should say, of Enterprise Edition database into the Exadata database service. So now I've talked about all this. I'm going to have Julian have a deeper dive into this architecture. Then I've talked about what it is and what we're offering. So Julian, how does this work? Can you share that with everybody?
Yes, of course. No, thank you, Tammy. So let me explain and present this architecture. So first, what you can see is there is the AWS region. And as Tammy mentioned, we install all the hardware, so all the Exadata hardware directly into the AWS region. But not only that, you can see then that is in the availability zone. So in each region, we install Exadata hardware. So storage, CPU, network, cables, everything, installing each in at least 2 availability zones in each region. So just imagine that you are in a AWS data center, that you are in a AWS availability zone, and you walk there, and you will see AWS compute racks, and at one point you will see Oracle racks, Exadata racks. Okay, so that's physically how it's done and how it's shipped. Now, how it is integrated for you. So, as Tammy mentioned, you deploy from the marketplace, and when you deploy your resources, you will choose the region, the availability zone, and then there is some in purple and pink, some components. So you can see the VPC, you can see the ODB network, and you can see that everything is running into the OCI child side. So what we build in each of the AWS region and availability zone is an OCI child side that represent OCI, all the database as a service that we lift into AWS region. And then you see that everything is interconnected from the ODB network to your VPC. You define your ODB network, you define your VPC, you connect that using the ODB peering, and you can leverage all the AWS services, as Tammy mentioned. So everything in IaaS, in PaaS, in SaaS services. So here in this diagram, you can see EC2, so application running on VM machines, but also the integration with Amazon S3 for your backup. We didn't picture everything. So for example, you could imagine that there is the CloudWatch also. CloudWatch is there to get all your monitoring. So that's how it's done at the architecture level in a single availability zone.
Well, this is great, Julian. I mean, we talked about, what Oracle AWS is. We've talked about a little bit of what the benefits are, and now you've kind of shown us this great technical picture. Can you briefly, we always say seeing is believing. So can you show us briefly a demo on how you can provision?
Yeah, of course, let me share my screen. Okay, everyone, I guess you can see my screen. For the purpose of the demonstration, it's a recording, but you have to believe me that when you will open your console, your AWS console, you will see exactly the same. So first, what you need to do, you need to search for Oracle database in the services. If you are not already subscribed, then you can subscribe and request a private offer. If not, then you can access to the dashboard. Once it's done, when I describe the services, you can see that there is the steps. So the first step is to create the ODB network. The ODB network is the private network where we'll run all your Exadata or autonomous VM cluster. So where you will run your databases, your rack, as Tammy mentioned. So first, let's create an ODB network. Let's click on it. That's your ODB network. So you can name it. You can create multiple ODB networks. So here in this example, it's dev1, could be your production, could be your LOB, could be your application, you name it, you own it. You choose in which availability zone is the ODB network, and we will see that is related to the Exadata infrastructure that you will deploy next. That's your ODB network. So you define your CIDR range. You define your private CIDR range according to your network planning and according also to the connectivity. So where are your clients? and from where you will connect. So you define the client subnet CIDR range and the backup subnet CIDR range. You can also define your DNS configuration. So it can be by default oraclevcn.com, or you can define your custom domain name, so mycompany.com, and then you will define your prefix and your VM cluster will be mycompany.com. You can also optionally, and do it later, configure service integration with Amazon S3 and Zero ETL. And of course, you can define your tags. Here for the demo, I click on console to not run it, but then it will be created. As I show you before, in the get it started, there is still one step. Now we will deploy your Exadata infrastructure. The Exadata infrastructure is your top level container. That's what we used to call before our quarter rack, or it could be the half rack or the full rack. So that's your capacity. So that's your compute and your storage server that will run and power your Exadata VM cluster or your autonomous VM cluster. So let's click on it. Let's create our Exadata infrastructure. Same thing, you own it. It's dedicated to you, so you name it. You define your availability zone, where it will be physically sitting. You define the model. So today, X11M, which is the latest generation of hardware. And you define your capacity. Speaking of CPU and storage, you can click on the selection to grow up. Then for your Exadata infrastructure, one very important topic is the maintenance setting. So you define the pace for the maintenance, when you want the maintenance to happen for the Exadata infrastructure. Oracle owns the maintenance. So we will deploy for you, but you choose when it will happen. So you can define your own customer manage. Here, hey, I forgot the Q4. So you can define in which month, in which week of the month, in which day of the week you want to release and you want the maintenance to happen. So, and you can do that, of course, according to your business requirement. Let's say it will be Black Friday. You don't want anything happen for Black Friday. You will choose another window to apply the maintenance. So you define, or you can let Oracle manage, and it will happen when the maintenance is ready. Then the second very important option is the patching mode. So two options, no rolling or rolling. Non-rolling, all the maintenance will happen at once on all the DB server and storage server, but it will occur, it will impact downtime because it happened on everything at the same time, or rolling, and because it's a quarter rack, there is multiple DB server and storage server, it will first do one and then the other. We advise to do roll. Once it's done, we have completed the step one, the get it started. We have our ODB network. We have our Exadata infrastructure. Now, step two, we will create our VM cluster or rack that will contain our database, that will contain our cluster where, and that will contain our database home, Oracle Database Home, CDB, PDB, etc. So let's click on Create Exadata VM Cluster. Again, you own it, you name it. So dev1. You can also name your grid infrastructure cluster name. You can define your time zone if you prefer to be in a different time zone. You can define your license options, license included, bring your own license. You can even update later if needed. As I mentioned, the VM cluster runs on top of an Exadata infrastructure. So you choose on top of which Exadata infrastructure you run. And remember that each Exadata infrastructure is defined in an availability zone. So you can define an Exadata infrastructure in one availability zone and then in another. You can define the Exadata version, the grid infrastructure version, 19 or 23 AI. You can select on which database server you will run, and you allocate resources. You can allocate resources for the provisioning. You can, of course, update later online with no downtime, so you can increase CPU, you can increase memory, you can add storage later while it's running. You can also define the storage allocation, reserving some storage for local backup or snapshots. Then next, the important part. You see in the provisioning, when I did the Exadata infrastructure, I didn't choose any network. The Exadata infrastructure is just capacity. Then it's for the VM cluster that I choose to which existing ODB network I will deploy my VM cluster. So in which client CIDR range and backup CIDR range I will deploy my VM cluster. So I deploy in an existing ODB network. Again, I name my host name, so that's the operating system host name. It will fulfill the FQDN. You can specify a different even scan listener port. For some customer prefer to change the default 5021 to another port. And then you provide your SSH key, because this way you can access the VM cluster, you can become Oracle, you can become Grid, you can become even root, so you can set up your own cron tabs, etc. So by clicking next, you review and create, and then you will click on create to create your first VM cluster that will provision into your VM cluster, into your ODB network, and you will be able to be in your own landing zone. Again, the VM cluster takes time, so here for the sake of the demonstration, I click on console. And then the last step that is important is, now that we have completed all the getting started, is to connect this ODB network with your VPC. So for that, we will click on ODB peering connection. We will create a new ODB peering connection, and the ODB peering connection does the relation between your ODB network and your VPC. So your application VPC, where you run maybe your EC2, or maybe your or other resources. Tammy mentioned AKS for your Kubernetes cluster, but also it could be your transit gateway, and that's how you will then connect to the outside world of your AWS landing zone. So you see, you connect one ODB network to one VPC, and by doing this, then you can SSH to your VM cluster, or you can just do an SQL plus or any SQL query from your application to connect your database. So that's the end of the demonstration. I show you here the 4 important parts: ODB network, Exadata infrastructure, Exadata VM cluster, but it will be the same for your autonomous VM cluster, and your ODB peering connection, to then connect your VM cluster, your databases to your application.
Thank you, Julian. That looked great. Appreciate that. So, Julian, now that we saw the demo, maybe when we take a look at the future of what we've got coming on
Yes.
Oracle Database at AWS. So first
and
of
also,
all,
I would say,
yeah.
what recommendation? Yes, what are the recommendations and the future plans?
Thanks, Julian. So to migrate your workloads into Oracle Database at AWS, we have a tool called Zero Downtime Migration, or ZDM, as you can see on your screen. And it makes it really easy to set up or move or migrate your on-premise database workloads into Oracle Database at AWS, onto Exadata, or onto the autonomous database as well. And so also we talked about how we wanted to simplify the operations in a multi-cloud environment. And so we have this unified experience, whether you want to look at or monitor, I should say, your resources in AWS or on OCI, you can do both, but we have it simplified. So we have a unified experience because we send over from Oracle the metrics into the AWS console. And here you can see how you can actually monitor the Exadata CPU or eCPU usage as well. And the usage of Oracle Database at AWS qualifies for your existing AWS commitments and Oracle license benefits, such as Oracle support rewards as well. So talk to your Oracle representative about this if you haven't already. And finally, we talked about how this gives you the unify your data across Oracle and AWS. And because we have that networking that Julian went into you. So you'll be able to benefit from low latency network connections between the the databases running on an Oracle database at AWS and AWS services. You're able to generate deeper insights and develop innovation using zero ETL integrations to AWS analytics services as well. And that's what's important, running the applications to the Oracle database data as well. Okay, I saw a question come through about where is Oracle Database at AWS available. Today, it's available in Northern Virginia and Oregon, and then over the next few months or 18 months, you can see that we're going to expand into 20 different regions in the Americas, in Europe, and Asia Pacific as well. If you are interested specifically in one of these regions to use Oracle Database at AWS, please reach out to your Oracle representative. Let us know so that we can work with AWS to get these regions set up and available for you when you're ready for it. So I think this is really exciting, Julian. As you can see, we want to give our customers the flexibility and the availability of the locations of where they can unify data and applications together using Oracle Database at AWS. Okay, so with that, Taylor, take us away. Take us home.
Awesome. Thanks, Tammy and Julian, for going over Oracle Database at AWS. I definitely learned something new today. Hope everyone else did as well. Wanted to offer some additional resources if you wanted to learn more. Here's some documentation that you can read on Oracle Cloud, as well as our live labs or YouTube channel if you wanted to take some additional readings or learnings as well. And here's also some additional resources, more specifically on our multi-cloud regions. You can see the latest regions and services, as well as our documentation as well. And if you enjoyed the session and would like to conduct a personalized training session for your organization or a quick shot live labs, feel free to email us at personal-trainers_us@oracle.com. And I also wanted to mention that under our developer experience program, this is where we co-develop a solution with you based on your own use case. So just wanted to remind you that we, as personalized training, is an investment that we make in our customers to help you grow and develop your OCI skills at no extra cost. And here's our upcoming schedule for October. We also just newly released a database series on Database 23 AI. And then on the next slide, today was our first session in our series for Database at, so our next session will be on Oracle Database at Azure on October 27th, and the following one will be on at Google Cloud on November 10th.
Please reach out to your Oracle rep. We would love to come talk to you and let you know what the Oracle Database platform is, and then you can see how you can use rack databases on the Exadata platform in the cloud as well. So we would love to be able to share that with you.
If there is any lab we can test. As of today, there is no lab, but as Taylor shared, there is a lot of material. You can find on Oracle University, you can find a lot of trainings, material. So to learn more about the solution, you can reach to the documentation. We published many also videos to get familiar with the service and get a better understanding of the different component and solutions. So
that's great. Julian, also I wanted to mention Oracle Live Labs. I don't know if there's an AWS one out there, but there are some live labs on Exadata, and that can also help you get familiar with what the Exadata platform is as well.
But of course, in the documentation, we present high availability between multiple zones. So how to achieve that, how to set up your connectivity, how to set up your data guard. And not only between zones, as Tammy mentioned, we have 2 regions with 2 availability zones, so 4 availability zones available. So you can be cross AZ, or you can be also cross AZ and cross region. So all the details, the steps, how to do it is in the documentation. We can share links. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And the question was, Oracle Database AWS is not available in Canada East region. Maybe not yet, but like I said, reach out to your Oracle representative. Let them know the regions are important to you so that we can focus on those. The more customers we have to reach out to us about regions, that makes it easiest for us to work with AWS and get those regions set up. So there you go. All right. I think that brings us to the end of the questions, Taylor.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julie and Tammy, for answering those. If there aren't any more, I would like to thank everyone for joining today and enjoy the rest of your day.